Video of a girl talking about how she had to delete Hinge, the dating app, because it was affecting her confidence.
I've heard so many people complain about Hinge now, and I have the answer. It might make you feel a little better, but let's talk about how Hinge is literally the worst dating app on the market right now. First of all, this previous creator is talking about a complaint I think we've all had with Hinge, where are all the attractive people? Like, it just feels like we're never getting any really attractive matches, which is weird because when you go on Bumble or Tinder, right, it's a completely different story. You're getting matches, they're all there, you can see them. So it's like, do attractive people just not use Hinge? And no, they do, but there's a reason they hide them. Similar to this creator and many girls and boys I've spoken with, you're just like not getting as many matches on Hinge as other apps. But my friends and I have noticed that we get more roses and like paid matches on that app than any other app. So it just doesn't add up. Why would people be more willing to pay for us to be matched there instead of free? And many of us have noticed they keep the most attractive members behind this paid rose wall on this little section at the bottom of the app. Now, if you're doing the math, which I know we're beautiful people, so that's hard for us to do, that means that Hinge is keeping you hidden behind this rose wall as well. And they're forcing people to have to pay to match with you because Hinge does not care about finding you your soulmate or someone to go out with. They just care about taking your money and also keeping the attractive people locked away and trapped on their app as long as possible. But also don't fall for them trying to like force you to pay the most expensive subscription prices out of any of the apps. Like, it's getting insanely priced, but back in the day when it was like 10, 12 bucks, I decided to try it for 1 month to see if it would be any better at all. And I found that it literally wasn't any different despite the fact that they're constantly advertising it as the best way to use their app. So like, what is the point of me giving you that money if it's not any better? But yeah, it just feels like Hinge doesn't want to actually find you a match. They just want to make your life as difficult as possible. The concept of the app is amazing, but the execution is absolutely garbage. So if anything, Hinge is almost deterring attractive people from using their app by using this method. We just haven't all figured it out yet.
Delete your dating apps. I don't use dating apps, and I'll tell you why. It's because your life's mission should not be to find another person. You do not need a relationship to validate your own existence, okay? Center your life around you. Stop going on 4 dates a week. It's just emotionally draining you, and it's making you actually feel more lonely, which is what these dating apps want you to feel. Even though they market that they want you to find a person, why would they want you to find a person? They want you to stay on their app. That's how they make money, okay? They feed off of your loneliness. Stop. You are enough on your own. If one day you do get married and decide to grow old with somebody, you're going to miss the time you had by yourself. Have faith in the universe, wait for it to provide, and delete your dating apps. I promise you'll feel better.
Let me tell you the real reason why I hate dating apps so much / dating in general. There is something so different about meeting someone in the wild versus meeting them after having met them on an app and texting them for 2 weeks. Because when you meet someone in the wild, you are getting a sense of who they genuinely are as a person without the added pressure of it being a date. You can see how they act around other people, and it's so much easier to gauge whether your energies align. Versus when you meet someone on a dating app and the first time you meet is in a date setting, I feel like you're putting on an act. When you go on a date, there is definitely this added pressure of having to be perfect. And for whatever reason, I feel like when you're in a date setting with someone, it is so much easier to judge them. And imagine how much time you can save by meeting someone in a natural way and getting all those red flags ticked off instead of going on multiple dates and not seeing who they really are until you get more comfortable with each other. Let me also add that when you meet someone in the wild, conversation is so much easier because you're not in that date setting. Because again, when you're on a date, you're kind of hoping for the best. You don't know how conversation is going to go. You don't know if you're even going to be attracted to that person to begin with. And let's not forget that on dating apps, you're basically picking someone based on their appearance. And think of all of the potential amazing people you could have connected with that you swiped left on just because you didn't like their picture. Because I can tell you from personal experience, every single app date that I had ever been on, the guys were good looking in pictures, but then personality wise, there was nothing there. On the other hand, every single guy I met in the wild, they were guys I never would have thought I would go for, but their personalities and the way we connected was just, I can't even explain it. Basically what I'm trying to say is I feel like meeting people naturally saves so much time and effort on both people's part because again, you're in the moment, you can figure out right then and there whether or not you like each other, versus going on dating apps, having to have forced conversation, having to plan an actual date, and then after the date, you have to decide whether or not you want to continue or not.
Dating apps are extremely problematic. So I'm a girl, I'm a straight woman, so I'm going to talk about it from a straight women's perspective, if that makes sense. First thing is that a lot of these men on these apps are not looking for something serious. And a lot of women are not aware of how smart these men are. We're not aware of their tactics. Men know that there are women out there that won't put out until they get courted. Men have caught on. They know that they can no longer just ask a girl to hook up or be friends with benefits. That doesn't work anymore. They will take you on a date. They might even take you on 2 dates, 3, maybe even 4, whatever it will take for you to let your guard down so that you could go home with them and eventually. And right after they get what they want, they're out. Another issue is that we are not supposed to have this many options. We have access to thousands of people with just a swipe, so people are constantly looking for something better. They're looking for something better even if they have something great right in front of them. Instead of taking the time to work on the relationship that they're in and getting to know that person that potentially seems great, they will just hop right back on the apps to see if there's something better. And another issue is when you have all of these matches, are you really taking the time to get to know each person, respond to their messages, and see if they're a good fit for you? It becomes way too overstimulating and way too overwhelming, so you just stop. And then also the obvious fact of people judging people based off of photos and prompts. I mean, yes, it gives you a better idea of what the person could be like, but then at that point, you're just falling for potential, not who the person actually is. And people could put anything in their bios. It might not actually be who they are. Not to mention, people don't actually put in the time and effort to have stimulating, thought-provoking, deep conversations. Like, how do you get to know someone? And then these conversations just lead to more conversations, and sometimes it never even leads to a date. And then there's the fact that a lot of people use dating apps as a coping strategy, typically after a breakup. So the amount of emotionally unavailable people, specifically men, because I don't date women, it's mind-boggling. These are men that haven't coped with the trauma, they haven't dealt with being alone or learned how to be alone, and they just got out of a breakup, so they hopped on the apps because they have nothing else to do. And people stop looking at you like you're an actual individual. They just see you as a match.
So I've been building dating apps for almost a decade now, and here is a breakdown of what is wrong with dating apps. One sec, I need some visual aids. So here's all the people you have on a dating app. You have all the guys, you have all the girls. This is ranked by attractiveness. So up here you got Timothée Chalamet, all the BTS looking people, and up here you got the hottest girls. Believe it or not, guys are not that picky. So all of these guys will swipe right on any of the girls. So if you're in this, like, let's say top half of attractiveness, then all of these guys over here will swipe right on you. But on the other hand, girls are a lot more picky when it comes to dating apps. In fact, girls swipe right less than 5% of the time when it comes to profiles. So all of these girls over here are only swiping right for Timothée Chalamet. So what we kind of see in the stats is that the longer a girl's been on a dating app and the more she matches with, BTS or whoever, the more picky she gets in terms of the guys that she's interested in. Because now this girl's thinking, look, I matched with Timothée Chalamet, I must be hot shit. That's my bar now, that's my standard. Now, there's nothing wrong with having high standards, but you got to do the math here and realize that Michael B. Jordan over here has 50 matches, and you're wondering why, you don't have a boyfriend or anything. It's because you're sharing this guy with 49 other girls. So what happens long term is all of these guys, most guys on dating apps actually get 0 matches. And all these girls are getting a ton of matches, but they're starting to get sick of the one-night stands and the guys that don't commit and they don't have boyfriends, and they get really frustrated and jaded. Have you noticed that you don't have any friends that say, I love using dating apps? Everyone always talks about how much they hate dating apps, even though they're all on them. So what's the solution to this? I don't know. I'm working on it, but I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows yet. There's always someone that says the solution is to get off the apps and go outside. It's not going to happen. Sorry, but the trends are going in a direction, and eventually most people are going to meet their significant other from a dating app. Yeah, but if you like this video, make sure to follow me and I'll try to give more insider information on how dating apps work and the whole industry.
Don't go on dating apps if you're a man. Dating apps have created an artificially low supply and artificially high demand of women. Only 10 to 20% of dating apps are women. This is like walking into a party with 90 dudes and 10 girls. It would be substantially harder to get any of those women. They would be getting flirted with by everyone. They would be able to be extremely picky with men because there's a lot of them and they all want her. The men would have to drop their standards and able to get anybody. This hypothetical party is the reality of dating apps. So unless you want to go 2 standard deviations below your sexual marketplace value, don't go on dating apps.
If you would ask me like a year ago how I feel about dating apps, I'd be like, oh yeah, Hinge is cool. I've met a lot of great guys on Hinge. A lot of Hinge horror stories I can't relate to, because honestly, a lot of my best like relationships, short-term relationship flings, whatever, have been through Hinge. But I'm here today to say that I am no longer a part of the Hinge crew, and I don't think I'm going back. Nothing terrible has happened, nothing worth a story, but the men that have been liking me on Hinge lately have... It's starting to make me question, who am I? To be getting this type of attention, what am I giving off? What kind of energy am I giving on my profile that is just attracting men who look like they barely snuck onto Earth? Like, you look like you really weren't supposed to be here for real. And yet you got on Earth and you got a buttload of audacity because now you're on Hinge telling me that you want to take me out. You know what I'm saying? It's been all year. I don't know if it's me, if it's Hinge, if it's the men, I don't know. I don't care. But all year, I've just been attracting the most disgusting looking men that I promise to God I've never seen men look this bad before. I'm so serious. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm being so serious. I've never seen men this down bad in my messages before. It's never happened. And I had to actually leave because it's starting to make me think, it's changing my mindset to the point where now I'm feeling like there are no attractive men. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I can't afford to have that type of mindset. Because if you believe that there's no attractive men, then you're not going to find one. So I can't let Hinge ruin my perception. And that's what it was starting to do. Like, it was getting to the point where every time I logged onto the app, I almost lost hope in humanity as a whole, and I can't let that happen. So now I guess my future husband, he's gonna have to find me at Kroger or something. I don't know. I go to Kroger like once a week, so maybe he'll be there. Maybe he'll find me on my walking trail. I don't know, but he can't find me on Hinge because your girl is. I'm done. I've been insulted way too many times. I don't belong here anymore. I have to go.
I think I know why dating apps are not working for us right now. My one friend just got back on Hinge and I was FaceTiming with her last night and she was like sharing her screen. We were looking at her matches and like the guys in her area. And I think we are missing each other solely based on our profiles. For me, meeting in the wild versus meeting on a dating app is extremely different. If I am out and someone comes up to me and wants to talk to me in person or is complimenting me, I take it a lot more personal than I would if a guy matches with me on a dating app and like sends some type of compliment. It's like, that's the point of the apps. You get on there to see who thinks you're attractive. Therefore, whenever I'm on the apps, I'm taking everything into consideration. I'm looking at your pictures, I'm looking at your profile, I'm looking at your prompts. You sending me a nice message and giving me a compliment isn't going to make me automatically like want to engage in conversation. And then this is the trending issue I was noticing with my friend yesterday, is guys' profiles do not represent them very well. On Hinge, you get 6 chances to show the other person what you look like through your photos. So many guys only had about 3 photos of themselves and then they would have a picture of their dog. Don't get me wrong, love dogs, love your dog. One guy literally had a picture of dirt. I was like, what is that? And there were some guys with like a lot of selfies, some guys where they're wearing a hat and sunglasses. And like some of these guys, I'm like, I can tell that they are good looking, they just don't know how to represent themselves on a dating app. I know if you came up to me in person and talked to me, I would talk to you, but going based off what's on your profile, I'm like, is it worth it? I totally get it. Guys are not like us girls. They're not taking as many pictures when they go out. If you're a guy, I highly encourage you, if you have like a good girl best friend or a sister, to go to them with your photos and your prompts and be like, hey, like, is this a good representation of me? Actually, you can even like DM me your profile and I will look at it and I will help you. I don't know, just after yesterday, looking at all these guys my friend was sifting through and the guys that were in her area, I'm like, so many of these guys, I can tell they have potential, but like, I'm unsure just based on what they have on their profile. I literally think on the apps, we are like missing each other. And yeah, that is my little conclusion that I came to yesterday. Also, if you want, I could definitely do a video breaking down what I think the ideal Hinge profile layout should be. Let me know.
Hey,
Hi.
How was your weekend?
Really fun. I hung out with some friends, went to the beach. How about you?
My weekend was good.
Cool.
Any fun plans this week?
Yeah, just working and gonna play some pickleball, go to the beach again, see some friends.
Yeah, same.
Oh, nice. You play pickleball too?
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot convince me that Bumble guys are not sus. This is an app that requires women to message first. And there lays the first problem. You're basically self-selecting for entitled, lazy guys who want the woman to message first. It's an uneven playing field and there isn't like a equal, power dynamic there. On top of that, it tends to attract like tech bros and guys in like sales or finance. It's pretty white. No offense to white people, but it's like really white. And yeah, the photos, the people, everything about it is heavily curated. It's like for guys that just like have this ego about them. So while Tinder and Hinge may not be like the best apps out there, at least, they have an equal power dynamic where both genders can message the other person first. And yeah, if I were you, I would just like avoid Bumble and run for the hills.
I would like to discuss the dating apps from a male perspective. I have 4 apps. That's right, 4. I'm a very, very lonely person. Of those 4, I've gotten 10 matches over the last 3 months. That's right, 10. We're hitting double digits, baby. Of those 10, 6 have had conversations with me. Of those 6, 0 have made it past 2 exchanges. Literally, hey, what's up? How's it going? Bye. Next, they will let's talk about how the algorithm clearly is built to screw men over to make money. Like all the other social media apps. It finds what we like after a day or 2 of swiping, and it takes anyone that fits that description and puts them behind a paywall. I'm not paying for your app, okay? I'm not going to pay to be lonely and get turned down. Not going to happen. And lastly, damn near every girl is now just using dating apps to advertise their social medias. None of them actually want a date. And that's where the toxicness of social media blends in, is that they don't want you to get to know them. There's I don't get on here much, go follow me on Instagram. Or their bio is literally just their Instagram handle. I'm not going to swipe around you, and I'm not going to go follow you. Because then if somebody's like, hey, I saw your Instagram on your dating profile, so I thought I'd say, hey, what's up? And then they're going to make content being like, this creep followed me from a dating app and shot me a date out. And you can say, Dylan, that's not true. Yes, it is. Because all we live off of these days is toxicity and clout chasing. That's all it is. So yeah, the dating apps, just stay off them. They're terrible. They're terrible.